All right, next here we've got a price change on the Model Y in China. Tesla has raised the price on the long range and performance Model Ys by 8,000 yuan, so about 1,200 US dollars. This, of course, following some of the strange price changes that we've had in the US this quarter. The Model Y here in the US is now a little bit more expensive, at least for the performance model, than the beginning of the quarter as well. All right, last couple of things here. First up on Porsche. Porsche has released an over-the-air software update, which is giving owners the option to decide to reduce their max charge power from 270 kilowatts down to 200 kilowatts to help reduce battery degradation from charging at those higher rates over time. I think the reaction to this story would depend on how much worse the degradation is at that higher rate of charge. On one hand, it's great to give owners options, but on the other hand, Porsche really hyped up the Taycan as having 350 kilowatt capable charging. They touted that as one of their big advantages versus Tesla. Now they've capped that at 270 and then even are recommending capping it at 200, which then even ends up being lower than Tesla at 250. So to really get the ground truth of this, you'd have to compare degradation at those various different charge rates for Tesla, for Porsche. But it just seems a little bit ridiculous that Porsche originally touted this, got a lot of credit for that, and have just slowly wound it back over time.
Yeah, and it's interesting, right? When you see that, haven't heard about that on CNB, haven't heard about that on Yahoo, Bloomberg, and it's like, one of the videos I'm coming out with called The Greatest Showman is you'll kind of see how a lot of these companies, whether it be Lucid, whether it be, who am I thinking of? Nikola, whether it be Frosttown Motors, right? They come out with these grandiose claims, and like it's, the media makes sure they cover it. But once we figure out, once we get granular and figure out the actual details, like none of the major media stations or outlets are walking back what they said. It's like, it's so dishonest. It's so disingenuous, right? It's so targeted, right? But at the same time, right, you say, well, why is, media, losing market share? Why is, the community, the public losing faith in media? It's because of these type things. And because it's just not in stocks or automotive, it's across the board. So a lot of times you'll hear people talking about the news and then they'll say something and then someone else at the table is a part of the discussion will say, oh, well, no, later they found this to be that. And the person doesn't know because they're only watching that one outlet, that one avenue. So, it's a lot of, I think I made the video FUD out of here, right? Get the FUD out of here because, it's like the major media, outlets are really just concerned about clickbait. And if you invest just off of clickbait, you could find yourself missing out on a small fortune, missing out on a huge fortune. And not only that, you could lose a lot of your money because, once again, you're following the mainstream media, which is really just doing a lot of these things for clickbait. And then pivoting back to, as Rob talked about, the price increases, that's just people don't understand. Tesla is still in its infancy. So when people like Chamath Palihapitiya, ARK Invest, Ron Barron tell you that we're only in the first or second inning with Tesla, so you're going to have price increases, you're going to have price decreases. Yes, Tesla is going to make some mistakes. They're going to change some things because all of this is new terrain and they are the ones that are leading the charge, to this new frontier, to this new terrain. So a lot of the mistakes are actually going to fall on Tesla because there's no manual, there's no blueprint. They're creating it as they go along. So the Neos of the world, the Lucids of the world, the Rivians of the world are going to be able to potentially, ramp up faster with less mistakes because they're going to be able to learn from some of the mistakes, some of the hardship, some of the tough challenges that Tesla actually had. And I think that's a fair point. The challenge is, some of these people, they're not even going to get out of the starting gate.
Lastly here, just another report from Reuters on some action happening in Congress. They say that, quote, 2 groups of U.S. Democratic lawmakers on Wednesday urged President Joe Biden to reinstate tough Obama-era vehicle emission standards through 2025 and do more to shift the U.S. toward electric vehicles, according to separate letters seen by Reuters that are not yet public, end quote. They say this is from a group of more than 70 U.S. House Democrats who are asking Biden to ensure that by 2030, 60% of the passenger cars and trucks sold are zero emission. We had also previously discussed that California senators had asked Biden to put a deadline on the sale of gas cars. Looks like there are now 10 senators involved with that request.
Biden has basically said that he is going to do so much for the transition to sustainable energy that no president that comes after him will be able to walk his changes back. And I think that's just an example of some of the people that supported him. Some of the people that helped get him into office are basically, trying to push the envelope a bit, push time forward and say, let's make good on those promises. And, China is leading us in the transition to sustainable energy. And I believe if we're going to be the leader in anything, we've got to be a leader in that. Guys, I really appreciate you checking out this video, this episode. If you like this channel, please subscribe. If you love this episode, then drop a like. And I'll see you again on the next episode on the ALSET channel, Reaching for the Stars Academy. Always reach for the best within you.